Good evening, Turks and Caicos. Tonight we stand at a pivotal moment in our nation's history. This stage, this debate, is more than just political theater. It is a test of leadership and a moment of truth. In just a matter of days, on February 7th, the people of the Turks and Caicos will make a decision that will shape the future of our islands. That decision must be informed, thoughtful, and grounded in reality, not rhetoric. That is why we are here. That is why debates like this matter. Elections are not won by slogans. Leadership is not proven by rehearsed speeches. True leadership is tested when the script is stripped away. When the leader is asked, unfiltered and unprepared, what is your vision? How will you execute it? And why should the people trust you? I'm Armando Rigby, your lead moderator for this debate, alongside my esteemed colleague and co-moderator, Damian Wilson. Tonight, we do not just listen. We challenge, we question, and we hold our leaders accountable. This is the people's debate. It is a rare and crucial opportunity for voters to see the leaders speak extemporaneously, to hear them think on their feet, to watch them defend their policies, and to judge not only their words, but their conviction. This is not about political survival. This is about public service. Tonight's format is designed to ensure fair and balanced discussion. A coin toss before the debate determines which candidate will deliver the final closing statement, and by default, which will begin the first opening statement. The rules are clear. This debate will run for 2 hours with structured speaking times, no notes, no props, no external aids, just the candidates, their ideas, and their ability to articulate them. No candidate has seen the questions beforehand, though both campaigns were made aware of the topics that would be covered. Our questions will come from 3 crucial sources. Your moderators, myself and Damian, who will challenge the candidates on national issues. Respected journalists who will speak, asking pressing and insightful questions. These were submitted. You, the people, through questions submitted via social media and our online platforms. The structure is simple. 3 minutes for each candidate to respond, 2 minutes for rebuttal or clarifications, 2 minutes for audience-submitted questions, followed by 1 minute rebuttal, and then 5 minutes for each candidate's closing statements, their final chance to convince you that they are worthy of your vote. Candidates has agreed to the rules of engagement. No personal attacks. This is about the people's future, not political feuds. No interruptions. Every voice must be heard. Truth over fiction. The people deserves facts, not falsehood. Tonight, we strip away the spin, we set aside the talking points, and we bring the people of the Turks and Caicos what they deserve. A real, honest, unscripted discussion about the future of their country. This is democracy in action. This is leadership under pressure. The stage is set, the stakes are high, the people are watching. Now let's begin.
Good night, Turks and Caicos. I'd like to introduce our 2 debaters here this evening, varying to be the next premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands. We have the Honorable Charles Washington Mizik, a veteran politician and leader of the PNP. Alongside him is the Honorable Edwin Oswit, leader of the People's Democratic Movement. Both candidates will vie to be premier. You will hear from them. I'm going to ask the Honorable Premier to give his opening statement as he won the coin toss earlier. Premier.
Can we just agree to may the best man win? Okay. Thank you, Damian. Thank you, Armando. Can I get my 3 minutes back? You spoke for about 3 minutes. Can I get that back? So tonight, I love this country, and I love the people of this country, and I want to thank those who are listening, and I want to thank the Turks and Caicos people for the confidence they've put in me over the years in electing me to office. It has been an absolute pleasure and the privilege of my life to have, for the last 28 years, deliver for them in many different ways. And so tonight, as you said, this is about the future. This is also about performance. And what I can tell you is that on February 19th, 2021, the people of these islands were down on their knees and down on their luck, and they called for the Progressive National Party to rescue them and to deliver for them. And we've done that. Right? We rescued the economy. We put money in their pockets when they needed it because of the pandemic and other challenges that they faced over the last 4 years. It hasn't been easy, but we've done the right thing by our people. We've grown the economy to be bigger and better. We've provided support to every person in our community, every group, every demographic group, from the womb to the tomb. We've delivered for them, and we will continue to do so. But tonight, I will list, because the questions are significant, and I'm sure I will have an opportunity to speak directly to many of them. I have the pleasure of sparring with the leader of the opposition in the House of Assembly, but tonight, this is more than sparring. This is about laying out a vision for the future of these Turks and Caicos Islands. This is about speaking to our record and not the rhetoric. The Progressive National Party has
30 seconds per minute.
a long list of performance that is delivered for these people. I'm here and asking you to re-enlist me to serve you and the people of this country, and I promise you, as I have always promised you, that I will be honest with you and will deliver in your best interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Leader of the Opposition, give your opening statement.
Good evening, Turks and Caicos Islands. All those listening out there via Facebook, internet, radio. First of all, I want to thank Almighty God for bringing us here this evening safe and sound. And thank Him for protecting the Turks and Caicos Islands. Also, I want to just thank all the people of Grand Turk South and Salt Key who have returned me to the House of Assembly, not just to represent them, but to represent the entire Turks and Caicos Islands. My people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, our country is on a decline. All of us who live in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and all of us who live outside of the Turks and Caicos Islands, but call the Turks and Caicos Islands home, do realize this is happening. Our healthcare systems are on a decline. Crime prevention is greatly on a decline. Immigration detection and interception, illegal immigration, is on a decline. Local businesses on a decline. The cost of living rising, and our people being able to take care of themselves on a decline. Everywhere around the Turks and Caicos Islands, we see decline. Decline in our environment. Decline everywhere around us. Our schools on a decline. The size of the classrooms and the teachers able to properly and adequately take care of and educate our children on a decline. But it doesn't have to be that way, Turks and Caicos Islands. The PDM and myself, my PDM team, is here to say that we can turn it around. We can ensure that you become first in your country again. A few years back, 22, 23, they were saying that we were second-class citizens in our country. Now, however, we have gone from second class to last class. That isn't what the PDM want for us. The PDM want us to be first in our country. The PDM want us, the Turks and Caicos Islands, to be first in business. We cannot have a country that is boasting of record profits, but it's not reaching you. We cannot have a country that we call a first-class destination, but our people are leaving in droves. The PDM is here to take care of you. We want to put you in houses. We want to educate your children. We want to take care of your health care. We want to ensure that your future is truly secured, as your future is truly our priority.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, and that ends our opening statements. We will now go directly into the question segment.
So our first question, the question will be posed to both of the debaters on stage. The first question to the Honorable Premier. The Turks and Caicos continues to experience record-breaking tourism numbers and economic growth, with the country's GDP now exceeding 1.5 billion USD. Yet many Turks and Caicos Islanders lament feeling left behind, citing the high cost of living, inflation, and the lack of access to high-paying jobs. Do you believe that the standard of living for Turks and Caicos Islanders have improved under your leadership or the leadership of your party? And what specific policies and concrete actions have you implemented to ensure economic prosperity is felt by the average citizen?
Thank you for the question. It's a good question. First of all, just to segue on the opening comments, the Leader of the Opposition obviously lived in an alternative world, because this country is on a trajectory, on a growth trajectory that you've never seen before. And our focus, our priority is focused on lifting our people up. And that is why, over the last 4 years, we focus on education, on health care, on providing subsidies for cost of living, on financing security, crime and security efforts, and on growing our government revenue. And the ways that we have helped our people is the following. In the first place, there are more business startups in this country than has ever been before. In the previous administration, the money allocated to invest TCI was never spent. Under this administration, we've spent more money. We've had to replenish the allocation because so many young people have been given grants to start their own businesses. On the education side, $3.8 million is expended on scholarship abroad. $500,000 is being spent on providing on-the-job support for people who are involved in apprenticeship. And $8.6 million is spent on the community college, where education is free. We're giving support for daycare, after school, $1,000 to seniors per month. We've given our people up to $50,000 if they're buying a property. We've reduced the stamp duty, and we've given them another $50,000 on imports if they're building a new home. And that $50,000 on stamp duty not only applies to residential property, it applies to commercial property. Yes, without a doubt, the standard of living in this country has increased. But inflation is global. And as long as it is the way it is, we will continue to find ways of supporting our people, including subsidizing electricity bills, which we have done in the past. And we've given 3 stimulus and recently 1 cost of living allowance. We'll continue to monitor the situation. And as it dictates, as the economy dictates and the quality of life and the standard of living demands, we will put the funding in place to make sure that our people's standard of living can improve.
Premier, that is your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leader of the opposition.
Yes, thank you very much. Before we begin the time, you posed the question about your government.
And so the question to you, do you believe that the standard of living in the Turks and Caicos has improved under the leadership of the Honorable Premier and his party? If not, what specific policies and concrete actions will you implement to ensure economic prosperity is felt by the average citizen?
Well, thank you very much for that question. But there you have it, Turks and Caicos Islands. There you have it. There's an old saying that if you don't know the problem, there's no way you know how to fix it. And we're hearing right now that the Premier do not know that there are problems in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The Honorable Premier do not know that you have problems in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The Honorable Premier is not aware of your suffering. The Honorable Premier is not aware of the crime in your community. The Honorable Premier is not aware of how you have to work 2 and 3 jobs to take care of your children. The Honorable Premier do not know about the oversized classrooms that your kids are in. The Honorable Premier doesn't know about the struggles that you have to go through on the road in the mornings and the afternoon to get your kids to school. He doesn't know about those problems. So how do you expect someone who doesn't know about your problems to know how to fix it? That is not what we're here for. We're here about the future. So since he doesn't know about the problems, let me educate him and maybe, he can learn something from this, that there are problems in the Turks and Caicos Islands. There are people. He spoke about the education, $3.8 million. Well, that is the same. In 2003, Honorable Derek Taylor gave more than 2 scholarships than that a year. My PDM administration will move that from 3.8 to 12 million because we believe that every child who wants to educate themselves, every Turks and Caicos Islander who want to further training will get that training. He talked about the seniors moving the allowance to $1,000. But again, what he didn't tell you was it's just a $300 increase. And the cost of living is real. $300 increase cannot do nothing. Yes, it went to $1,000, but it moved from $700 to $1,000. This is all deceptive maneuvers by the Honorable Premier. And I wish that for once he will come to our people and speak the truth. He talked about the cost of living being wonderful and it's global. Well, our cost of living is local because they have done nothing to bring down the cost of living. They have not reviewed the tariffs in many years. Your PDM government will look at those customs tariffs and see where we can reduce, see how we can increase the bread basket items. We have a problem here with a government that does not know how to lead and how to govern. Your PDM government will fix these problems. We have a plan. We have it laid out, and we know how to recover this economy from day one.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Clearly, I must be living in an ivory top tower. I live in the same island country that the leader of the opposition live in. We shop at the same market.
No, we don't.
I know what the cost of living is. I have a family. I don't drink liquor, and I don't gamble. Neither do I engage in sumptuous eating. So I know what the cost is. I know what the man on the street is feeling. So the truth of the matter is, we have been dealing with the cost of living issue. Inflation, Turks and Caicos, is a import-dependent economy. Everything we eat comes from abroad. Every lettuce leaf, every egg. And so we have to import the inflation. And then when we get here, there's also markup by the merchants. But we have been dealing with this by giving people relief. And Our priorities, as I said, are clear. We are dealing with healthcare. We are, in fact, as I said earlier in my opening, when we came, the economy was in free fall. People were on their knees, and we put money in their pocket
30 seconds.
in order to improve their life. And we have reduced duties. The import duties, the CPF has been reduced by basic basket of food goods, duties have been removed in its entirety. So I don't know what bailiwick he's trying to sell you. I don't know which university he lives in, but all you need to do is to look at government press release time, and you will know what is going on in this country. He is the one who doesn't know what's going on in this country.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable
Premier.
Premier. A supplementary to both candidates, sticking with the economy. We know that increasing prices on rental prices, limited availability and ability for Turks Islanders to afford apartments and homes has become a major concern for residents. In addressing the economy, many Turks and Caicos Islanders feel priced out of the market. I noticed I didn't hear anyone speak of housing and that crisis for locals. What is the plan going forward? Mr. Honorable Premier, if you were re-elected, and Leader of Opposition if you are elected and become the Premier.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that question, Mr. Rico. That's very important. And yes, my government is doing something about that. In the first place, we have a new housing policy that speaks to complete community renewal, dealing with repairing houses, looking after people after weather conditions where the houses have been destroyed, but also importantly, we have a pledge to build 3,000 new homes in the next 5 years. And we are already on the way to deciding and putting the pieces in place to do that. We're setting up a mortgage corporation with $20 million by the end of this financial year.
30 seconds.
If the people re-elect me, we'll put another $20 in it. And we will provide mortgages for people to buy their homes at a reduced interest rate. We have a housing crisis, and government will deal with it. We will fix it because rental is one of the highest components of the cost of living, and we have to attack it. We have a plan to attack it.
Thank you. Leader of the Opposition.
There you go again. More fallacies. The Honorable Premier has been in power for 4 years. The housing situation didn't just arrive. Now, after 4 years, he wants to come to the people. And you believe that what he didn't do in 4 years, he's asking you to allow him to do in 5 years. That is not going to happen, people. The mortgage corporation has been there. They didn't use one dime. People have sent in their applications. Not one house has been built in the last 4 years. But don't worry about that. The PDM has a plan. We have a housing policy that they're trying to copy. We said we're going to do 150 affordable houses, at least in the first year, at least 150. But we also go on to say we're going to have social housing, which is going to be much more. You see, because our plan addressed all the people in the Turks and Caicos Islands, all the needs. So when we said 150, they jump up and try to say 5,000. They had no plans. They had been here for 4 years, haven't built one house in 4 years. And you think they're going to be able to build 5,000 houses, 3,000 houses in the first year? Come on. If you had 4 years and couldn't do it, I'm sure the people know you're not going to do it in 1 year with all that money, everything that the Turks and Caicos Islands have, and you was unable to build not one single house.
Thank you, sir. We move on to our second question that will be asked by our co-moderator, and this is going to be on healthcare and the public's well-being.
Okay, so in terms of health care, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition will get to respond to this question first. Despite numerous commitments for health care improvement from several administrations over the years, recently some medical professionals right here in the Turks and Caicos have openly expressed their concerns over the health of residents here in the TCI, and residents themselves continue to lament about the accessibility and the quality of healthcare services within the islands. If elected, what concrete steps will you and your government take to address lingering issues as it pertains to the quality of healthcare here in the Turks and Caicos Islands? And if you win the election, how soon can people look forward to that?
Thank you very much for that question, Damien. From the question alone, I am one of those medical people who has been complaining about the state of healthcare. But the Premier wants to come up here and let everybody believe that you're living your best lives. You are living your healthiest lives. Well, Honorable Premier, that too is a lie that you're telling the people. Our people are not living their healthiest lives. In fact, me being in the healthcare profession, I know that our people were healthier 15 years ago. The records can show that. If you look at the birth rate compared to the death rate, you'll see that that ratio is higher now in 23 and 24 than what it was in 2017, than what it was in 2015 and before. But never fear, because the PDM is truly here. On day one, I myself is going to push through cabinet a bill to ensure that primary health care is rejuvenated in all our communities. We know that in order to keep our people healthy, we have to look at prevention. Prevention is always better than cure. The Honorable Premier style, as you can see, is always put the Band-Aid on the bleed. But we are always want to go in there and stop the bleeding so that you don't need the Band-Aid. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to address health care as root cause, put the primary health care clinics back in every community, that all our people can access that our people can go and get the early screenings for early detections. We will also improve the hospital as it is. Long are the days that we do not have an IC unit here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And with the record profits that the Honorable Premier is bragging about, we should have had an IC unit here from 22, 23 from the profits that we made. But they failed to deliver on that. But what they also did was mess up the entire NHIP system. Now our people cannot even get an ambulance come to the Turks and Caicos Islands because they bankrupt the NHIP. They made it that our people are at a critical state. Our people, we had to come to the House of Assembly about a month ago to appropriate $10 million to pay outstanding bills. But sadly, we are still owing to hospitals. Soon hospitals will be saying that they are not taking our patients. Where will that leave us? This is the mess that the Honorable Premier has gotten us in. And your next PDM government, with me as the Premier, is committed to fixing that, committed to getting primary health care in our communities, committed to getting our hospital at a standard that they can deal with critical patients, committed to make sure that neonatal, everything surrounding neonatal is present here. Oncology, dealing with our cancer patients, we want to bring that home. We have all the ideas, all the plans to fix health care while they...
Honorable Leader, Honorable Premier.
Yes, just at the expense of using up my time, I want to say that our scholarship program is $12.9 million. Check it out. The community college and all, you had that up, $12.9 million, right? And let me say to the people who have lost loved ones through crime, I sympathize with you, right? And I have never made it my business to politicize crime like my colleague here and his party has been doing over the last couple of months or years. And as it relates to the healthcare in general, we have a plan for that. We don't follow fashion. We set trends. We put the NHIP in place and we built the hospital. And if there's anything broken about it, we will fix it. We will fix it. And so the hospital, the system, as you see, we have a good infrastructure. Yes, we have some management issues. And we are in the process of establishing a national health authority to deal with the whole healthcare system, including billing polyclinics within the various communities to take the strain off the hospital. We will be opening up the 10 beds in Providenciales at the hospital here and putting in 2 ICU units. We will be expanding the facility in Grand Turk. And we will bill for those persons who need palliative care because they are terminally ill and staying in hospital beds, restrictive visiting ability to bill a hospice first in Providenciales so they can live out the rest of their lives in comfort with palliative medication where their relatives can visit them and spend time with them. We are a caring government, and everything we do, it's about people, place, and productivity. And that is why we're educating our young people. And we will put in place a youth service program to make sure that none of them end up under a tree going in the future. So this PNP administration under yours truly is committed to uplifting our people and the healthcare system. We will be focusing on developing expertise and competency in the country so that the level of referral abroad will be reduced. And we wouldn't be sending our patients in the future to just any place. We will be sending them to centers of excellence. And that don't mean that they will be going necessarily to the United States, because there are centers of excellence all over the world, some of them in our own region.
30 seconds.
So we've thought this thing through. The leader of the opposition and his party, it's clear they don't have a plan. Right? They do not have a plan. We have a plan, and we will execute that plan to the advantage of the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Thank you.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, your rebuttal.
Thank you very much. Turks and Caicos Islands, it seems like the Premier cannot help but to lie to the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands. It is truly a sad day. Everyone knows that the PDM has a plan. Everyone knows that we have articulated that plan on many platforms. What the Premier hasn't told you is their plan doesn't involve any plan. There's no plan. Their plan is to come to you, lay out a lot of projects, and year through the year, they're going to cancel them, say they're being rescoped, reprioritized, reorganized. I have seen this. They came in, they said that they would build a special needs school. Oh, we're going to rescope it, reprioritize it. What happened? There's no special needs school in Grand Turk today. Always lying to our people. But we have a plan, and we will deliver for you.
30 seconds.
And we will, and surely make your health our priority. We will strengthen primary health care. We will get those health professionals in the hospital. No more will you see persons Googling to find out what your diagnosis is. We will get the proper machines for scanning. No longer will you have those misdiagnoses and wrong diagnoses like under the Honorable Premier. And no longer will you be sent to places without money.
I want to ask a supplementary question to the both of you. The Honorable Leader of the Opposition raised the issue with the supplementary funding to the NHIP. Persons here in the islands have complained over numerous years about the NHIP and it being an ineffective organization. If elected as the next Premier of the Turks and Caicos, what would you do to fix the NHIP and overseas care for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands? Honorable Premier, you can speak first.
In the first place, there are two components that is managed by the NHIP at the moment. One of them is the regular internal health system, paying for, people make their contribution and they have free access to the local hospital. And the other one is the treatment abroad program, which is paid for by you and me. That is paid for by the government of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Right? And that program is in the process of being reformed, as is the entire NHIP. Right? The treatment abroad program is the government contribution to health, and that program is being reformed so that we get value for money. And that is what I was speaking about earlier, sending our people that need to go abroad to centers of excellency, but also building a healthcare system where we can reduce the number of patients that are referred abroad. We need to upskill our medical professionals here, to develop specialties. And the level of referrals abroad will then come down. NHIP to the internal system, and, for example, you made reference to the people going abroad and not having money.
30 seconds.
Whatever is wrong with NHIP, we are fully cognizant of it. We have a full team working on transitioning the hospital to the system, to the Public Health Authority, and fixing the NIP. Yes, we have issues with the NIP. We establish it. We appreciate that the health of those people is important to us. And so we fixed it. And we will fix it again. That's what we do.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, thank you very much, Damien. As the Premier said, that we have problems with the NHIP. Well, I can tell the Turks and Caicos Islands, the main problem with the NHIP is that this Honorable Premier and his PNP party has been running it for the last 4 years. That is the main problem of the NHIP. Now, the ways you fix that. The Honorable Premier speak about Center of Excellence, but there should be nothing out that we won't pay for our people. So on day one, again, I will bring a treatment abroad policy to Cabinet to reverse what is there now. We will ensure that wherever you can get the top treatment, you will be sent to. Whether it's the USA, whether it's Canada, we will not say that you only can go into the Caribbean region. We want the best for our people, and we will put the money there in the treatment abroad policy that we can send you places where we believe, and the data show that you can get the best treatment possible for you to fully recover and fully be healed. That is what the PDM is about. Not saying that you have to go to this place because we can't afford it. And we will not send people abroad without having money in their pocket. We will not send people abroad to be put out of hotels. We will not send people abroad to be put out of hospitals. We will ensure that whatever allowance you need, you will get that before you go. We will ensure that whoever family member that is going with you will get that money. We will not treat you like how this PNP administration, this Premier has been treating you. We love you, we care for you, and your health is truly our priority. And we will ensure that you get the best care wherever it is, at whatever price it is. That is what your PDM government will do for you.
Thank you, Honorable Leader of the Opposition. We will now move on to the third question, which is on the area of crime and public safety. I'll hand over to our lead moderator, Mr. Rigby.
Thank you, Damien. This question will be posed to the Honorable Premier. It's a question on crime and public safety. With rising reports of violent crime, particularly in provinciales, public safety is now a top concern for voters. Many feel that crime has escalated into a crisis that is eroding trust in law enforcement and threatening the country's security. Beyond increasing law enforcement numbers, what tangible strategies will your government implement to combat violent crime and ensure the safety of all residents? And how will you measure the success, and what level of accountability should the public expect from your administration on crime reduction?
Thank you very much for the question. You said that there is a crime crisis, a crime and safety and crime crisis. Let us assume that you're correct, right? How do you deal with that? You deal that in 2 steps. First of all, you have an immediate program to address the current and most pressing aspect of it, and then you have a medium and a longer term plan, which is based on rehabilitation and developing a social structure that will capture people before they fall through the cracks and into crime. Also, the other thing you need to look at is we have 2,000 miles of open border in a country with 11 million people that is with a failed government, right? And we have a situation where the integration of the different mixtures of cultures are also an issue that we have to combat. But I can tell you what is happening now, right now as we speak. We have spent $127 and actually $150 million between the police and the judiciary in the last 4 years. $127 million on the police. We've given the police everything they've asked for. We've given them 50 additional cameras. We give them additional authority to search and to do whatever is necessary within the law. We've increased jail terms for gun crime, gun and gang association. We've provided the police with 2 armored vehicles, mobile police station. The list goes on and on. And we are in the process now, before the end of February, you will find 50 additional firearm officers on the street of Providenciales to deal with the current surge in crime. We are content with breaking the neck of crime. The opposition had a 12-point page between 2016 and 2021. Ask him what has happened with that, because crime hasn't just started. I personally was involved in at least 3 marches of the street of Providenciales with the previous premier. The lull happened, crime is started some time ago, but there was a lull during the pandemic because nobody was on the street, nobody was out.
30 seconds.
Right? So we will be dealing with crime, and we'll be dealing with it effectively. We're dealing with the punishment end of it and the rehabilitation end of it. We will make sure that our young people are in an institution of learning or on the job somewhere, and we will subsidize youth service program for our young people, and we will continue to pour resources in our border. We have a border force, a joined up service with the police, the border force, the customs, the regiment, and such the like.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Mr. Aswad.
Thank you very much. Turks and Caicos Islands, you now see what I have been dealing with for 4 years, the hypocrisy. The Premier came in just when he started to answer and say, let us assume that the people are right in saying that there's a crime crisis. Again, he doesn't know that there's a problem, so please do not expect him to be able to fix it. Your PDM party, we have a plan. The 12-point plan was in 2016. I'm here in 2025, and this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do, people. We have a plan that centers around prevention, detection, and management. And so rightly so, those acronyms spell out the PDM. P for prevention, D for detection, M for management. So it's a full PDM plan. With the prevention, we're talking about all the diversion measures to stop youth from getting into a life of crime. We're talking about all the social matters that allow people to seek out a life of crime. We will go into the schools. We will ensure that no one in the Turks and Caicos Islands have a need to go to crime down that road. Detection is all about detection also. The Premier talked about he gave the police everything they want. Well, I can ask him, everyone can ask, does the police have a police plane? No. They have been begging for the police plane for the last 4 years, and nothing happened. They had a plane, they sold it. They had a plane inside of the warehouse. They retrofitted, and then they sold it. There's no plane here. How can we police our whole borders if you haven't given the police their plane? But again, they went to the UK on their knees begging mommy for help, while mommy is saying you're big enough to help yourself. The PDM will ensure that the police have their plane. We will ensure that the police have all the equipment that they need. We will ensure that they have drones in the sky, that they can follow cars safely. If a car is moving through the streets, if we don't have the helicopters to follow them, we can follow them by drones. We will make sure that we train the young people in that. And in management, we will ensure that court system justice is swift. Right now, we have about 57 inmates on remand, waiting for a trial to take place. You have another almost 50 inmates that are not from the Turks and Caicos Islands who are waiting for deportation. All this is a matter of management. We will ensure that our people who are sentenced get the rehabilitation. We will put rehabilitation strongly in our prisons, that when our people come out, they will be ready to integrate into society. We have a PDM plan: prevention, detection, and management.
Thank you very much. Premier, rebuttal.
Thank you, Damien. Thank you, Mr. Rigby. My acronym is PDM is not prevention, detection, and management. It is poor decision makers. Because I haven't had him, he hasn't said one thing here tonight, not a single thing here tonight that is practical, that is grounded in substance, that is even implementable. He's dealing in generalities, and he's expecting the public to buy into that, right? We are putting the government money where our mouth is. We've provided them with equipment. We're building 2 new police stations and potentially 3 in the next 5 years. We have plans already drawn with funding that's available, 1 in Blue Hills and at least 1 in 5 Keys. And we have drones in the air, and we will be providing additional drones. We already have a
30 seconds.
We already have a Google system that we're working on that you can literally drive through Dockyard or anywhere and see from the map where cars are, where people are sitting down outside their yard or what is going on there. So we are using technology, investing in technology to fight crime.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. We will now move to the next question, and that will be handled by my co-moderator, Mr. Wilson.
Okay, gentlemen, you've spoken on the issue of crime and public safety, and this segues right into the next topic area that is important to the people of the Turks and Caicos Island, and that is immigration. Okay? The TCI has long faced significant challenges in maintaining internal and external security. With the new Trump administration now deporting illegal migrants out of the United States of America, including Turks and Caicos Islanders, and illegal migration from Haiti seeming to be on the rise, what is your stance on accepting, first of all, Turks and Caicos Islanders who have been deported from the United States? And what policies or measures will your government implement to effectively manage illegal migration from other parts of the region? Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wilson, again, it's so disappointing how the Premier always resort back to pulling people down whenever he's in a corner and saying they're lacking ideas when he and his team are trying to take all our ideas. You hear him talk about the police stations. We have already designed our police stations. We have already presented it to them, and we are putting that in every community. But Damien, we have to accept our people. If our people are deported from anywhere around the world, they are Turks and Caicos Islanders, and we have to accept them. They are your cousins, your friends, my friends, people out there, they are your friends, your family. We have to accept the people that are being deported. But over the last 4 years, illegal immigration, illegal entries, and the non-detections have skyrocketed under this Premier and his team. He had sheriffs, he had deputies, he had them all, and they did nothing to combat crime. Illegal immigration. It is now at an all-time high, and they have no ideas. All they're doing is waiting for the PDM to say what they're going to do so they can jump on it and add to it. But we have ideas, we have plans. Damien, our whole thing is about eyes on the water, eyes in the skies. We're going to lock down our borders to ensure that nothing gets past. We know how to do it with the radars, with the sensors. We have already done the research about that. We know the best places for the radars. You cannot have a radar just down in Providence, Alice, West End. And the whole Turks and Caicos Islands from Gibbs Key comes straight down is open. We have a plan. We already have identified the best places, the level of staff that we can do to lock down our borders and make sure that we can detect anything that is coming in. This is not dealing in fallacies. This is dealing in real substantive things that can make a difference here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And when it comes to on-island patrols, we will bring back those units. We will bring back the SPICE or the ICE, whatever you want to call them. We will bring back those units to do things in a proper way. We will ask people that if you are here illegal, you have a certain amount of time to pack up and go home, because if not, or get yourself straight. We did it before in the under the Charlene Cartwright-Robertson PDM administration. We asked people to leave,
Seconds.
and more than 200 persons voluntarily left the Turks and Caicos Islands. We will have that approach. We will lock down the borders to ensure that we have eyes on the water, eyes in the skies. We can see everything. The police have the proper boats, unlike them who haven't given them for 4 years to go out there and intercept. We will get the vessels that can process them on the water. They do not have to come on land. We already know how much this costs. So it's not dealing in fallacies like how he would like you to think. These are real plans
The
with
Honorable
real
Leader of the
solutions.
Opposition, Honorable Premier.
The question again, sir?
The question is, the TCI has long faced significant challenges in maintaining internal and external security. With the new Trump administration in the United States now deporting illegal migrants out of the U.S., including Turks and Caicos Islanders, and with illegal migration from Haiti seemingly on the rise, what is your stance on accepting Turks and Caicos Islanders who are being deported from the United States? And if elected, what policies or measures will you implement to effectively manage illegal migration?
Okay, thank you. Damien, the security threat globally is changing, and it is changing for Turks and Caicos. It includes cybersecurity as well. Okay, now, I can tell you for a fact that we've put in 2 new radars. Our collaboration with the United States and the Bahamas hasn't been better. It's actually quite good at the moment. And so what has actually happened since we've installed those 2 additional radars, and since we've increased our collaboration with the Bahamas and the US, the amount of the interdiction has increased, and so people are turned back even before they hit the shores. In 2022, there's something like 3,963 persons were repatriated. In 2022. In 2024, there's in 2023, 4,900 people were repatriated. In 2024, just under 2,900, because we're stopping the boats before they get to the shore, right? And that is deliberate. We will be putting additional assets out there. We have boats on order. We have 2 vessels that are being gifted to us by the United Kingdom, and we have 3 vessels of our own, our order at the moment to be delivered. And as it relates to eyes in the sky, we will be investing in high-powered, long hours drones that can go far out to sea. What he's talking about is fixed-wing aircrafts, and the only way you can detect who's on the water is by visually looking at. Those are tired ideas. We're into fresh ideas, big ideas. And so we will have drones, powerful drones with camera that can transmit information back to headquarters. And we'll have vessels on the water that can interdict. Now, as it relates to Trump emptying his country or sending people back,
30 seconds.
I have already had meetings with the governor and with the United Kingdom government, because that's a diplomatic issue. We have to accept our people, but we have to prepare to accept them. We have to know who they are, where they're coming from, whether they have criminal backgrounds, whether they have social needs. We have to prepare to accept them. And we are putting those things in place. That conversation is taking place. They may come back without families here. We may need to house them. We may need to provide social support for them.
Thank
so
you,
this is the
Honorable
difference
Premier.
between them and us. We prepare. We have plans.
Thank
they
you,
don't have
Honorable
any
Premier.
plans.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, your rebuttal.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm not sure who has been in power over the last 4 years. Maybe it is his brother, the former Premier, Honorable Michael Mizik, who seems to be telling all the ideas on the stage. Maybe it is him, because surely from what the Honorable Premier is saying here, he hasn't been in office and he hasn't been in power over the last 4 years. The reality is our people are waking up in the mornings and seeing droves of people running across. Our people are reporting hearing their dogs barking, and when they come out, they see people in their yards. Our people are calling that they have a name, the backpack people now, that they're seeing people early in the morning just walking. Our people are saying in their communities that they're afraid to go walking in the mornings, not because of dogs, not because of animals, but because they don't know who they're going to buck up. But yet the Premier is saying they have stopped the boats and they have turned them around. That is not so. That is not the reality. I don't know which utopia the Honorable Premier is living in, but that is not the reality of Turks and Caicos Islanders. And he talk about the planes being outdated. Surely he doesn't know that those planes come with scanners that can scan a wide variety of areas. The pilots do not have to go and see them themselves, Honorable Premier. You should know this. You should know this at least. They have scanners on it that they can pick up the boat, they can see the dots. So that is something that have to be used. And the asylum bill that they have rushed through the House, I don't know why they allow the British government to force them to do that. They have allowed that. Now they're opening up a can of worms. Because when Trump deport all those other people, not just Turks and Caicos Islanders, you'll have people from around the world who may try to come here and seek asylum. And they have just opened up the can of worms. And we're going to have a crisis on our hand when people who get deported, who say they are from war-stricken places and they need asylums, come here to the Turks and Caicos Islands and use that asylum bill that they have put in place now. So now it comes back to haunt them. That's your time, Honorable Leader.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to the last question in our moderator segment, which will be on recent constitutional reforms. I hand over to Mr. Rigby.
Thank you very much. After this question, we will take a 10-minute intermission. So the question on our recent constitutional reforms, and this is for the Honorable Premier. This general election will be taking place under several historic changes contained within a new TCI constitution. These changes are based on recommendations that were agreed by both parties submitted to the UK government. Many voters have questioned the timing and necessity of these changes. Can you explain to voters what are the benefits to them for moving from a 4-year to a 5-year parliamentary term and the need for 19 elected members?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Before I address the question, I think the leader of the opposition is using the oldest trick in the book. If you can't beat the idea or the argument, then attack personally, right? I am my own man. Unlike him, who have to run to the governor as like a crybaby, complaining about what the Premier may have said, right? And let me say that as it relates to the Constitution, I would like to express gratitude to all of the stakeholders, including the leader of the opposition and the Progressive National Party as a whole and the PDM, because the changes that we see have taken place over 3 administrations. Started with Rufus Ewing administration, Charlene Cartwright administration, and now Charles Washington Mizik administration. So it's a good example of what we can do when we collaborate with each other, right? And so yes, it is practice. Most parliamentary democracies have terms of 5 years, right? Most of them, right? Planning cycles tend to be 5 years, right? But also, if we are going, we had a parliament of 19, but we had 4 persons that were appointed, 2 of which were appointed by the governor. If we are going to move towards self-determination, we have to have a parliament that represents the people of the country. They have to be the ones who elect the parliamentarians. And so we can't have a situation forever. We have to make steps towards complete self-determination, and we can't have a situation where we have people appointed by forces outside of the population to sit in our parliament. So that is progress, that is progressive, and it gives the local people an opportunity to hold members of parliament, every one of them, accountable for their action. And so, yes, the 19 seats, nothing has changed in terms of number. It's just that they're all now elected. I hope
30 seconds.
I hope I've answered the question. I don't know if there's anything I left out. The questions are quite long, so sometimes it's possible to leave parts of it out. If I do, you can feel free to ask as a supplementary.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I almost bust out laughing up here when the Honorable Premier said that I have to run to the governor and the likes. Turks and Caicos Islands, you know who hand the governor has to hold. The governor has never joined me in any press conference. Whenever I have to address my people, I address them with myself or with my PDM team, always. But somebody on the stage do not come to the people unless he has the governor holding his hand, especially on crime, especially on critical issues. He runs to the governor for the governor to hold his hand. But that is not your PDM. You elect us, and we're going to serve you, and we're going to be accountable to you because we know you are our boss. Now, the constitutional review, I was happy to be a part of it. But between 2016 and 2021, why no progress was made? Because this Honorable Premier, who was then the leader of the opposition, decided not to take part in those talks. And he had told his team, whole team, to be pulled away, that do not take part. So that stifled the whole thing going from 2016 to 2021. And that is a matter of fact. But we are different. We know, myself and the Honorable Garland, we know that whatever is best for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, we're not going to play politics like him. We're going to do what is best to change the Constitution and advance it. And that's what we did. We worked with them, worked with the entire team. But with the extra members, from the town hall meetings, the people said that they do not want the governor to have any appointed members. So we said, okay, let's do away with the governor appointed members and have appointed members just from the parties. However, the UK came back and said, well, if you're doing away with appointed members, you have to do away with all. So that is how we got there. And now with the 4 members, I myself have been writing to saying, why we have 9 or at large? Why don't we put those 4 back in the constituencies? I told them that we had more than enough time. And this was in 23 when I wrote that letter. And they say, no, it's not enough time. Elections are in 25. We had more than enough time that if the people want, we could have given Solkey back their representative. We could have given Middle Caicos back their representative if they want, depending on size and location, whatever they use. We could have even split some of the bigger constituencies here. We could have given
30 seconds.
Grand Turk a third, but they choose no. We're going with the 9 all island because we promised this one, we promised that one, that they will get a seat. We promised them that if they help us, we will give them a seat, we'll allow them to run. And that is why they kept with that 9. But there's no reason. We have to, as soon as this is over, we have to go back and allocate those 4 additional into constituency seats. That is what we're about. In the 5 years, the people of Grand Turk and Provo said 4 years is okay. South Caicos said they didn't mind. North Caicos say 4 or 5 years they didn't mind. But they choose to go with those ones saying 5 years.
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much. I am extremely disappointed in the leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition had the mitigating gall to come on the stage and tell a bold-faced lie. When I sat in cabinet, we did send an application, 19-point application to the United Kingdom government for constitutional amendments. We began with a document that was started under Rufus Ewing, and we sent it to the UK. The message we got back, as I understand it, the message we got back, they needed more flesh. It wasn't very clear. It was a point system, and what happens is this: the leader of the opposition and myself engage with Sir Geoffrey Jowl, a constitutional attorney who had done the constitutional work for the Cayman Islands, to come and to assist us, right, so that we can provide a better content and better reasoning for why we want the things we want. But I stood in the House and I supported the 19 points that were sent to the UK by Honorable Charlene Cartwright as Premier. So I don't know whether you have dementia or not, right? Or you're just trying to make up things as you go along, right? And I'm very disappointed because some things are so obvious. I can pull the Parliament, the House of Assembly records and present it to the public. Because it definitely doesn't go like that. Now, if you have a problem making up what you have to say, I understand that, because you have nothing to say, right? But don't come and try to paint me as the villain in the front of my people, because my people know better than that.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. We have one supplementary. You invited. Both persons will have 1 minute to respond. Supplementary, Honorable Premier, in your speaking, you mentioned self-determination. I hold in front of me the Citizens Contract 2.0, as well as Our Future, Your Future, Our Priority, and these are the manifestos of both parties. Can both of you speak to your manifestos if it contains anything concerning self-determination?
Well, I guess if you look on the front page of the PNP administration and you read the vision, I challenge you to read the vision. And the vision speaks to a self-determined people. And it is also the idea of having a constitutional or a referendum in the Constitution, as I remember, emanated from us, from the PNP, because we want to be able to give the people an opportunity whenever they are ready to indicate whether they want to be politically independent or not. And what better way to do that than to have a referendum, or a yes-no referendum? The voice of the people is the voice of
30
God.
seconds.
Huh?
30 seconds.
And if the people say that they want to become politically independent, there's no premier who should hold them back. And I can tell you, if that is the settled will of the people of the Turks and Caicos to become an independent country, I will not stand in the way. But the vision of the PNP is in our manifesto, a self-determined people. Read it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, it can be proven. So it is a matter of fact that you didn't take part in 2016 to 2021. You were the one stolen because you didn't want those constitutional changes happen under PDM administration, which is so poor. But I am not like that. I don't care who get the credit. Vision on independence. If you look at the last chapter in our manifesto, it's not in a vision statement. It's point by point laying out how we would get to independence. We're not just talking a vision statement like him. We have a clearly defined path to full internal self-government and on to independence, which include a referendum when we reach there. We have outlined all the things that need to take place in order to prepare our people and our country for independence. It is outlined there. You can go to the manifestos. There's a caption in the vision somewhere, 1 or 2 lines. But we have a clearly defined step that you can see what we are thinking in order to migrate and move our people to that vision. And at the end of the day, they'll have a chance, a referendum on independence. Yes for independence or
time.
no,
Thank
or
you
yes for this
very
constitution
much.
or no. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll now take a 10-minute intermission. Thank you.
How to shade your ballot. By shading the circle completely and accurately. 1. Fully shade your choice. Voters must completely shade in the oval for 9 at-large candidates and 1 electoral district candidate. 2. Use the provided pen. Use the pen provided to fully shade in the oval next to your chosen candidate. 3. Do not mark outside the oval. Avoid using X's, check marks, or any other symbols in or around the oval. 4. Review your ballot. Before inserting your ballot into the DS200, ensure your selections are clear and accurately shaded. By following these simple steps, you can ensure your voice is heard and your vote is counted.
This video provides step-by-step instructions for how to cast your vote on the DS200 tabulator. We are changing the way you vote. When you check in, present your national identification for the registration process. A poll worker will register you by using the electronic poll book. The electronic poll book will have registration details you provided to us and also ensure you are at the correct polling station. Once the registration process is complete, the poll worker will provide you with a ballot. Take your ballot to an available voting booth and shade in the circle of your choice. Remember that you can only vote for one electoral district and 9 at-large candidates. If you made a mistake, ask the poll worker for a new form. When you are satisfied with your choices, take your ballot to the DS200 tabulator. Insert your ballot into the secure tabulator. Your ballot can be inserted in any direction. Do not fold your ballot. The display screen will notify you once the system has successfully captured your vote. A thank you for voting message will appear to confirm tabulation. Consult with a poll worker about other messages. Thanks for watching. See you at the polls.
The Elections Department would like to remind voters of the proper way to mark their ballots during the upcoming general elections. To ensure your vote is counted accurately, do not mark an X or a check mark on your ballot. Instead, you must completely shade in the oval next to the candidate or option of your choice. Properly marking your ballot is critical to avoid errors and ensure the electronic tabulating machines can process your vote correctly. If you have any questions about how to correctly mark your ballot, please ask for assistance from the elections officials present at your polling station. Let's work together to make the voting process smooth and effective for everyone. How to shade your ballot. By shading the circle completely and accurately. 1. Fully shade your choice. Voters must completely shade in the oval for 9 at-large candidates and 1 electoral district candidate. 2. Use the provided pen. Use the pen provided to fully shade in the oval next to your chosen candidate. 3. Do not mark outside the oval. Avoid using X's, check marks, or any other symbols in or around the oval. 4. Review your ballot. Before inserting your ballot into the DS200, ensure your selections are clear and accurately shaded. By following these simple steps, you can ensure your voice is heard and your vote is counted.
This video provides step-by-step instructions for how to cast your vote on the DS200 tabulator. We are changing the way you vote. When you check in, present your national identification for the registration process. A poll worker will register you by using the electronic poll book. The electronic poll book will have registration details you provided to us and also ensure you are at the correct polling station. Once the registration process is complete, the poll worker will provide you with a ballot. Take your ballot to an available voting booth and shade in the circle of your choice. Remember that you can only vote for 1 electoral district and 9 at-large candidates. If you made a mistake, ask the poll worker for a new form. When you are satisfied with your choices, take your ballot to the DS200 tabulator. Insert your ballot into the secure tabulator. Your ballot can be inserted in any direction. Do not fold your ballot. The display screen will notify you once the system has successfully captured your vote. A thank you for voting message will appear to confirm tabulation. Consult with a poll worker about other messages. Thanks for watching. See you at the polls.
The Elections Department would like to remind voters of the proper way to mark their ballots during the upcoming general elections. To ensure your vote is counted accurately, do not mark an X or a check mark on your ballot. Instead, you must completely shade in the oval next to the candidate or option of your choice. Properly marking your ballot is critical to avoid errors and ensure the electronic tabulating machines can process your vote correctly. If you have any questions about how to correctly mark your ballot, please ask for assistance from the elections officials present at your polling station. Let's work together to make the voting process smooth and effective for everyone.
This video provides step-by-step instructions for how to cast your vote on the DS200 tabulator. We're changing the way you vote. When you check in, present your national identification for the registration process. A poll worker will register you by using the electronic poll book. The electronic poll book will have registration details you provided to us and also ensure you are at the correct polling station. Once the registration process is complete, the poll worker will provide you with a ballot. Take your ballot to an available voting booth and shade in the circle of your choice. Remember that you can only vote for one electoral district and 9 at-large candidates. If you made a mistake, ask the poll worker for a new form. When you are satisfied with your choices, take your ballot to the DS200 tabulator. Insert your ballot into the secure tabulator. Your ballot can be inserted in any direction. Do not fold your ballot. The display screen will notify you once the system has successfully captured your vote. A thank you for voting message will appear to confirm tabulation. Consult with a poll worker about other messages.
How to shade your ballot. By shading the circle completely and accurately. 1. Fully shade your choice. Voters must completely shade in the oval for 9 at-large candidates and 1 electoral district candidate. 2. Use the provided pen. Use the pen provided to fully shade in the oval next to your chosen candidate. 3. Do not mark outside the oval. Avoid using X's, check marks, or any other symbols in or around the oval. 4. Review your ballot. Before inserting your ballot into the DS200, ensure your selections are clear and accurately shaded. By following these simple steps, you can ensure your voice is heard and your vote is counted.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome back. We now move on to our media questions, and we will begin with Damien, who is going to pose the question to the Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes.
And so these questions were submitted by our media houses, and each debater will have 3 minutes to respond, 3 minutes to answer the question, and 2 minutes for the response, 1 minute rebuttal.
No. Sorry, just to clarify, 3-minute response, 2-minute rebuttal, and if a supplementary is asked, 1 minute.
1 minute,
Sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Damien.
Yeah. So moving into the questions from local media. Voters continue to hear the same usual political rhetoric, particularly about Turks and Caicos Islanders first, about scholarships and education, about crime and illegal migration, from both political parties. However, can you, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, actually tell voters what makes your party distinctively different from the other party and why they should give you their vote to be Premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands?
Thank you very much for that question, Damien. The main answer is very simple. Myself and my team, we have a heart for the people, whereas the Premier has a heart for his pockets. That is the main difference between us and the Premier and his team. We will do everything we can to make your lives better. They will do everything they can to make their lives better. We will make your future our priority. They will make their future their priority. That is the main difference. We are here to serve you. We know that you are our bosses, and we know that we got to come out and deliver for you. And if we don't deliver for you, we're not going to come and begging you for 5 years. We will turn in our resignation and let the country go to a general election, because we know that we are here to serve and not to be served. Like the Premier, he wants to be served. He wants to keep you dependent on them. So he'll just give you whenever you cry. But we want to make sure that you're not dependent on me, not be dependent on anyone in our government. So he liked to say that, oh, teach a man to fish, feed him for a day, for a lifetime. If you give him a fish, you only give him for a day. He loved to use that, but that is exactly what he does. He only gives you a fish to keep you dependent on him. But we don't want you to be dependent on anyone in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Certainly no politician. We don't want you to have to come crying to any politician. We want to make sure that everything out there for you, that you and your family can strive in an economy that is doing so good, but is not doing good for you. See, the Premier wants you to always have to run to him. That is the Machiavellian style of obtaining power. I know he's very familiar with the book, The Prince, and he have demonstrated it down to a T, but that is not us. We want you to be independent of politics, and that is what that is the ways we are different from them. They want you dependent on them. We want you to be independent. We want you to live in dignity, where you do not need handouts, that you can fund politicians' campaigns instead of they trying to give you money for votes like what is happening now. That's not what we want for you. We want to make sure that you can live in dignity in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We want to make sure that you are first in the Turks and Caicos Islands. This is not a cliche for us. This is a commitment. We want our people to strive in our environment. Over $2 billion in GDP, all that money is going to non-Turks and Caicos Islanders. All that money is leaving the country. We want that money circulating here. We have an economy that is thriving, but it's not working for you. The PDL
Thank you,
wants
Honorable
to
Leader
put
of the
you
Opposition.
center
That's your time.
of the economy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Damien. First of all, if you listen to the Leader of the Opposition, you would think that he is choreographing to enter Parliament for the first time. He's a 12-year or 3-term parliamentarian, and he served as a minister between 2016 and 2021. And you would think, it sounds like he wants everything to be fixed between 21 and 2024. But what I'm here to tell you, I personally don't believe there's any serious philosophical difference between the Progressive National Party and the PDM, right? If there is, I can tell you what our philosophy is, right? We believe that the best model for countries is sort of a European Christian democracy type model that speaks to a balanced growth, inclusivity for everyone. But as I said, I don't believe there's any real philosophical difference between the parties. I think we all sign on to Vision 2040, and we all signed off to a number of other studies. agreed to in the House of Parliament and other places. But what is different really is the means of getting to that vision, achieving that vision. That is the difference. And so we have a plan. We have plans, many plans that we enact from time to time. Nothing that the opposition leader said tonight have spoken about empowering our people. Nothing, nothing whatsoever. And he's talking about giving a fish rather than giving a fishing line. Well, everything he said tonight, it's about giving fish. And he said nothing about how he's going to generate the money. He talked about talking about the economy, just spoke about keeping the local economy. He didn't tell you how he's going to create that. Turks and Caicos is a shoebox economy. And the only way we're going to be able to have money circulating in the economy is to develop a local economy, creating linkages back to our main industries like the tourism industry. PNP knows that. He has no idea of macroeconomics. The other difference is we build institutions to empower people and protect them. From the very Constitution, 1976 Constitution, check it out. It was the Progressive National Party. It was the Progressive National Party that paid for the 1976 Constitution. We build hospitals, we build schools, we build the community college, we build NHIP. The list goes on and on. We build the NIB.
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
So
That's
we build
your time.
institutions that will outlive us.
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you.
Leader of the Opposition, your rebuttal.
Yes, thank you very much. The Premier is talking about we build institutions, but I can tell him his record on institutions is a big failure. From Oxford Bank, bankruptcy. Alexandra, bankrupt. When he came into power, there was a Turks and Caicos Islands saving bank, closed down, bankrupt under him. He was the chairman of TCI Bank, bankrupt, closed down under him. Even his prestigious property went bankrupt and they had to open up on the next name. So you have no right and no grounds to stand on and talk about institutions, whereas you always close down or bankrupt institutions. If he doesn't close down or bankrupt institutions, he sold them to the highest bidder. The hospital deal, carnival contract, beach vendors bill, red now. Everything he does is to take things from Turks and Caicos Islanders people and put it into the hands of non-Turks and Caicos Islanders. Always taken from our people and giving it to others. The airport deal, watch out for that. Taking it from our people and putting it in the hands of others. And I do understand macroeconomics. That is where my master's was in business management, when it incorporates that. We always talk about diversifying the economy and going far in the financial services, but he have been there 4 years and he haven't done nothing to change the legislation for financial services. If you were a financial genius, why you didn't change the legislation so we can have those products to advertise in the Turks and Caicos Islands? So we can have things like hedge funds and all that here. But you have no idea about that. And you want to say you know economics? Why didn't you change the legislation? The legislation has to be changed first. Even when it comes to banking, we always complain about the banking services, but I have asked again for market conduct legislation so FSC can go behind the banks, but he doesn't know nothing about that. And he wants to talk about economics
Honorable Leader,
with me.
Thank you, Honorable Leader. I want to ask you both a supplementary question. No, just one rebuttal, Honorable Premier.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but I want to ask a supplementary along the same lines. The people of the Turks and Caicos have said that they would love to see more cooperation between the leaders, right? Between the political parties. If either of you ends up in opposition and the government brings legislation that will improve the lives of Turks and Caicos Islanders, will you support it? Honorable Leader of the Opposition, I will allow you to speak to the 1 minute supplementary, and then the Honorable Premier will respond.
Thank you very much, Damien. The people doesn't have to go far. They can turn on or listen to any House of Assembly session, and you'll see that myself and the appointed member always tell this government that if it is good for the people, we will support it. And everything that they brought that was good for the people, I was the first one to jump up and say aye. I don't play politics when things are good for the people. But yet on the same end, whenever it's good for the people and we bring it, they knock it down. For instance, we had a bill about notary publics. The honorable appointed member put forward that let's make sure that only locals can be notary publics in the Turks and Caicos Islands. He and his team voted no. I was like, wait, but this is good for the people. But they voted no, but we didn't go against that. We still put it forward and they knock it down. And we have maintained over and over again, it's a recitation. If it's good for the people, we will support it. So I know he's not going to do it in opposition. I always tell him I have extended my hand, and he always spit in my hand whenever I extended to work with him.
Thank
and
you,
that is
Honorable
words
Leader.
I have said over and over in the
Honorable
House
Leader
of
of the
Assembly.
Opposition, thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Premier.
First of all, I can't let him get away with the slander earlier, right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I grew up in North Caicos barefooted and bare-assed. I had nothing. I grew up in the poor family, a large family, okay? I built a $50 million company. I was left with 35 condominiums in 2010, 2011, right? In the height, suffering from the greatest recession since 1929, okay? I borrowed money from the bank, yes. And because there was no sales, the bank had to foreclose. I'm not ashamed of that. I am not ashamed of that. And I am not ashamed of anything that I've done. At least I take decisions. I make investment. I take risk. What have he
30
done?
seconds.
Right? Lehman Brothers, been around for centuries and went under. Many other big corporations went under in the financial crisis. So I'm in good company. I'm proud of my record. I'm proud that I've taken risk. But I've also built this economy. I've made significant contribution since 1991. The first deficit, the first
Premier.
surplus.
That's your time. We'll now move on to the next question in the media submitted questions.
Thank you. This question is another question from the media, and it is to the Honorable Premier, and it's to both of you. Actually, the Premier, you'll have the opportunity to respond first. In recent weeks, our nation has experienced a significant cyber attack that paralyzed government operations and compromised sensitive data, causing widespread concern among citizens and allies alike. As the potential future leader of the Turks and Caicos, could you please outline your strategy for strengthening our national cybersecurity measures to prevent such instances in the future? Additionally, how do you plan to address the vulnerabilities exposed by this attack and restore public trust in our government's ability to protect critical information and infrastructure?
Thank you. Very good question. As I mentioned earlier, cybersecurity is a big issue, and we have to increase or redefine our risk profile so that that could be a part of what we cater to. And so what is happening as we speak, we have professionals reviewing our system, rebuilding parts of it, and we will be developing a foolproof system as we look at digitalizing government, because that is what we will be doing. Digitalizing government so you can sit at your dining table at home and process most of government services. Building a 24/7 government platform. And so yes, it was very unfortunate that what happened, and the forensic, the investigation as to what happened is still going on. So I'm not able to tell you why it happened, okay, or who is responsible, but what I can tell you is that we are doing everything, this government is doing everything, putting our investment into it to ensure that it doesn't happen again. So, and if I am elected to lead this country again, I will make sure we're making huge investment in technology, and we have to protect have cyber protection. $27 million on the fiber network across the islands that we're working on at the moment. Massive investment in having a national ID. So when you go to the bank, when you go to NIB, NHIP, you have one ID card. So we're modernizing the government. And the cybersecurity risk has to be taken into consideration with that, because as we modernize government will have a larger internet footprint. And it's important that people can trust. Police records used to be months and months. Now you can get your police record within 24 hours. These things take time, and it would require hiring or engaging expertise that is sometimes expensive to hire. But we need it. We need it if we're going to build a 21st century, really have a 21st century economy that works.
30 seconds.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Turks and Caicos Islands. You just heard the Honorable Premier say they're doing all they can. And I can point out two simple things that they're not doing, but it's all they can there, and show you the difference again with me as your leader. See, I go and understand what the problem is. Unlike him, he likes to say there's no problem. A simple firewall and flow and Digicel. It costs some $200,000. They do not have it. That is something that the government should require that they have. That could have prevented this thing from happening. A simple having them with the proper firewalls in place. It's not in place. And I don't even know if he know to ask them to put it in place, or to ask them, will government assist to put it in place? But yet, PDM government will ensure that these things are put in place. $27 million for the fiber ring. They campaigned on that. 4 years, nothing have been done. The previous administrator had identified where the nodes are, coming over from the Dominican Republic. All the groundwork has been done. In 4 years, they couldn't do nothing to advance that. They came in talking about national IDs and digital IDs. 4 years, and nothing have advanced on an ID. Imagine that. So you think in 5 years, now they want to come and say 5 years? The Premier is forgetting that he has been in power in 4 years and have not done anything. Getting the firewall up and flow and Digicel is number one. All the other technologies come later, but you have to protect the threats from outside. Yes, it doesn't protect the threats inside, but at least it stops those threats from outside. And I can tell you that they do not have that firewall, and that should be the first thing that you think about. And saying you're doing everything and you haven't yourself thought about that or inquire about that, shame on you, Honorable Premier, shame on you.
I'm not a technology professional, but I recognize nonsense when I hear it. Right? And that is nothing less but nonsense he's talking about, absolute nonsense. How are you going to depend on building a secure cyber security environment for the government by depending on flow and Digicel? How? That is absolute trash.
You still have time?
Oh, I didn't know. Right? And I don't know which kind of fantasy island the leader lives on. It can't be the same island that I live on. He's the same person who said on radio, Turks and Caicos on Expressions, that he knows who's bringing in criminals in the country, right? He's the same person. When this debate started, it started that there will be no personal attack. The only thing he's done all night is to try to personally attack me because he doesn't have ideas, doesn't have any plans, right?
30 seconds.
So this is about the future of the people of these islands. This is not about me, neither him. That is why we build institutions, to outlive us. And as God would help, if I am to win the next election, the cyber security issue will be solved. Technology is rapidly changing, and there will always be incidents, but we can mitigate the level and the number of incidents that will happen. Turks and Caicos has not been the only country. It's
your
been happening
time.
in the Cayman Islands, it's happened in the Bermuda, it's happened in big countries
Thank
and
you,
big countries.
Honorable Premier.
Big countries and big companies.
That is your time.
Thank you.
Okay, before we move into the next segment, I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you, and Honorable Leader of the Opposition, the Premier, has highlighted, and I should have flagged it earlier. Please be mindful of the personal attacks. Okay?
Say something. It's all on his record. Nothing about him personally, nothing about his family, his friends, his dress, anything. It's all on his record. And his record is fair game in this debate.
Okay, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, let's keep it fair. Honorable Premier, just be mindful.
I have a record that everybody knows, and it's a good one. He doesn't have a record except as a government employee, and then working, being elected to Parliament. Where's his record?
Let's
What
bring
has
it back.
he done?
Let's bring it back to the debate.
Thank you,
Let's bring
thank
it
you.
back to the debate. Come
Thank
on,
you,
gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Let's bring it back to the debate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so
Thank you, Honorable
hold
Leader.
on. Thank you, Honorable Leader of the Opposition. Let's move on to the next question, right? And we're moving into the segment of questions from the public. So I just want to remind you that responses are now 2 minutes, 1 minute for rebuttal. This next question is a bit lengthy, but I think it's an important one. The Turks and Caicos Islands is a growing nation, as both of you have highlighted tonight. But many of our senior executives and professionals, particularly in the civil service, struggle to advance their education due to high cost and salary reductions while on study leave. Meanwhile, we continue to spend billions on foreign consultants. The public wants to know, what is your plan to invest in advanced education, such as specializations like PhDs for the local talent pool, particularly senior executives? And would you commit to working with the Deputy Governor to revising study leave policies to remove financial barriers? The Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, thank you very much, Damien. I just want to remind the public again that I haven't attacked the Premier in any way. I'm only speaking to his record, which is a record of failure. I'm only highlighting that. And he asked me what I did. I saved his life during the pandemic, which I think he should thank me for his life right here, myself and my team. But when it comes to scholarships and training, Damon, this is something near and dear to me because, as he said, I worked for government over 17 years. And one of the main things is advancement. For far too long, we have seen that others come in and are placed above us. And the same Turks and Caicos Islands who were denied the jobs are the ones who are being asked to train persons. That is not right. That will not happen under a PDM administration. We will ensure that our people are trained. If you are in a job and they say you do not have the qualifications, we'll put you on probation and allow you to get those qualifications. We will fund all aspects of training. Certificates, specializations, accreditations, bachelor's, master's, PhD. That is why we're saying we're moving it from their $3.4 million for external scholarships, which they like to try, bring in college and everything, straight to $12 million. So any Turks and Caicos Islander leaving school in the civil service who want to train can get a right to train. We will make sure that our people are at the top in government. In 1994, almost every, straight up to 2007, 6, 7 or so, almost every top job in the Turks and Caicos Islands had a Turks and Caicos Islander in that. Almost every top job in government had a Turks and Caicos Islander in it. And sadly, for the last, from 2003 to now, it has been deteriorating. The PNP have been in power for 20-some 18, 17, 18 out of those years. And they have eroded government, they have eroded civil servants, and we will make sure that they are balanced in the civil servants paying grade. They came there, they messed it up, but we will fix it, we will adjust it on day one to make sure the proper paying grades are in place, that people get their increments on time, and people get their rightfully pay, and people are able to advance. Our people are able to advance to the top positions.
Thank you. Honorable Premier, I'll just repeat the question because it's pretty lengthy. Okay, go ahead with your response.
Bottom line is, I am proud of a lot of members in the public service. We have some extremely brilliant young people, right, that we have educated who've come back to work, and we have to create a system where we can attract our young people back from overseas because they are contributing to other people's economy when they ought to be contributing to our economy. So we have a commitment to make sure that we improve the terms of work within the public service to be able to attract our people home. And it may be that the system of strict grades within may have to change, and we may have to put in place some kind of professional arrangement, because a highly qualified engineer with a job in the UK may decide he's not coming here for what the public service system could pay him. And so we have to engineer things in such a way to attract those people so that we can get the service. The reason why we're not able to deliver projects as fast as we would, because we have a serious shortage of professionals. And we are inviting locals to come apply for those specialized scholarships that the economy requires. I believe in a merit system. So whether you're 50 or 25 or 60, if you merit a scholarship to do anything that this economy requires,
30 seconds.
You will be given financial assistance, either through the Professional Development Fund, changes to be made to that fund. So if you have to go abroad, you will not be penalized or find yourself in a less fortunate economic situation because you have to go abroad to improve your skills to come back to work for the Turks and Caicos Islands government. I believe in equity.
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
And I will make sure that that happens. Thank you.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, your rebuttal.
Yes, again, Turks and Caicos Islands, you will not think that the Premier was in power for the last 4 years, and yet his budget for external scholarships remained the same. Just look at it. I can share it with the whole world after this. $3.45 million straight across the board, straight down to 2026, 2027. He's talking out of one side of his mouth, but he's not doing it in the real world. That is not what he's doing. He's talking something, but he's not doing that. He's failing our people. But we are saying we are committed to working with the Deputy Governor and dealing with this and ensuring that our people get
30
on
seconds.
the jobs. Yes, but also what we'll do to ensure that our people come home, just like how we give person expats the housing allowance to come home. Now is the time we have to give our young people, our returning people, housing allowance also. Not everybody wants to go back and live with their parents, or so you're a big man or woman. You have gone off to school, so we will be giving you a housing allowance to further attract you. The same what the others get, you will get.
That's your time. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll now move into the last question, and I will hand over to our lead moderator.
So this is our final question, and it is from the youth. Youth and economic opportunities. While the country is rapidly developing, young Turks and Caicos Islanders often feel excluded from the nation's economic success. Many struggle to access job opportunities and feel unheard in national decision-making. What will your government do to break down barriers that prevent young people from fully participating in the economy? And how will you engage young people in policy making and ensure they have a real voice in shaping the future of Turks and Caicos?
Is that for me?
Sorry, yes, the leader of
Thank
Premier,
you.
sorry.
Thank you. The future belongs to the young people, right? And basically, everything this government is doing is to try to empower them. Contrary to what the Leader of the Opposition said, scholarships, a narrow definition of scholarship, if all you mean is foreign scholarships, it is actually $3.8 million, because even one of his own candidates have it on social media to say it is now 3.8 million and they will raise it to 12. Well, I'm here to tell you that the scholarship fund is over 12 million, 12.9 million I think it is in total. Because every boy, girl, or adult who wishes to go to the community college can go, right? And then there are all other sorts of programs, including, or not including actually, the Professional Development Fund, which is administered by the Deputy Governor's office. In addition to that, I said it earlier, I believe more needs to be done to assist young people, but we do need them to be more proactive. Policy is generated in many different ways. Policy don't always start with government. It can start with the public, right? And our young people should and need to, and I would encourage them to get engaged, right? Because it's important that we know what their thinking is and how they can help to craft the future for themselves. But we spent $5 million over the
30
last
seconds.
4 years in MSME grants. And we will actually be putting in place a revolving loan program to subsidize the grants, to help young people who may want to get into the service sector or in other sectors. We're committed to the youth of this country. We will do everything that we can. And we are. As I said earlier, I'm impressed by so many of them. The whole area of the orange economy.
Honorable Premier, that is your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leader of
Yes.
Opposition.
Yes, thank you very much. I want you all to please fact check inside the budget, and you'll see for external scholarships, the $3-point-something million going straight across. You will have to look high and fast to see whatever $12 million the Honorable Premier is talking about. Fact check it. I can share the budget with you. Yes. But also, we have to look at the MSME program. My government will be increasing that from the $10,000 for the grant, the next $10,000 for technical support. And so we're going to be giving you $100,000 that you can set up your business properly. Not nickel and dime. You can only get in trouble with $10,000. We're going straight to $100,000 to make sure you young people can set up your business. Also, with that $12 million, when you leave school, if you're a technical person or you're a scholar, we're going to have grants there, not just for the scholars, but also for the technical people. So if you were successful in the technical fields and you want to come out of school and start your business, we will have grant for those top performers in the technical field. So not just the scholars will be getting scholarships and grants, the technical people will be getting it also. But also, we had the trade school. That trade school was purchased during the last government. Interviews for teachers took place, and they came in and they did nothing with it. They closed it down 4 years. They should be ashamed to mention trade school when all that work was done.
30 seconds.
And they decide not to do anything with it. We will get our people in those trades also and show them how much money they can make. Not only just carpentry and electricians, and so we will train the boat captains so they can go out there and can compete. And we will remove this red that they have hanging over them, so our people who want to get in that industry will have no barriers that they are putting in place. We will deal with that.
Thank you. Honorable Premier.
So, first of all, this man is selling pipe dreams.
This man.
And a lot of lies.
Mr.
Because the funding available through Invest TCI is more than $10,000. If you're in South Caicos and want to get money from Invest TCI to do fly fishing, you can go right now and get $50,000, right? The grants that's available is up to $100,000 when you add the services and import duties. That's already the case. So, but you're selling a pipe dream, and it's clearly that you don't even know what is taking place. Huh?
30 seconds. Go ahead.
And as it relates to this trade school, typically in PDM fashion, you allow your members of cabinet and the House to buy property and buy things and then sell it back to the government. So the trade school, we'll have a proper trade school that speaks to the economy needs. That's what we will have. And we wouldn't have a member of parliament buying it and selling it back to the government either.
That is your time.
Yes, thank you, sir.
That is our final question. However, I have a supplementary because the question was very important and it's from the youth of the Turks and Caicos. And so my supplementary is the actual question again. While the country is rapidly developing, young Turks and Caicos Islanders often feel excluded from the nation's economic success. Many struggle to assess job opportunities and feel unheard in national decision making. What will your government do to break down barriers that prevent young people from fully participating in the economy? And how will you engage young people in policy making and ensure they have a real voice in shaping the future of Turks and Caicos? And this question, I asked the question again because I wanted to hear specifically speak to the young people of this country. The Honorable Premier mentioned that the young people are the future, and I think that the question, I didn't hear an answer that would have sufficed for the young people of the country. So, Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Yes, thank you very much. Just to reiterate, it doesn't matter who bought the school should be in place, right? But with the young people, as we said, we going to have, as was before, the listening tour that was started under the Honorable Karen Malcolm. We will make sure that that listening tour take place so we can understand what our young people want and need. One of the things that they said that they want and need is more access to grants to start businesses. That is something that we intend to do. We intend to make sure that it's $100,000 in terms of cash grants. All the other things will be added to that. We're just speaking to the cash $100,000. So we will make sure that they have that $100,000. We will make sure that whatever you want to be trained in, that you can get trained in. No job is too big, no job is too small, no career path we will deny. If you want to get trained, we will train you in that. We will ensure that we earmark businesses to ensure that this sector, we're going to invite young people to participate in. We're going to look at the hotel that they brought and had it set up in Grand Turk for young people to get trained in hospitality. While earning a salary, you'll be getting trained. So we have a slew of things to roll out for the people, but we're going to be listening to you, and we have been listening to you. So we're going to give you that increase in grants in terms of the MSME. We will get you the scholarships that you need for whatever type of training you want, and we will ensure that there's a job for you when you return home by looking at the contracts.
Thank you. That is your time, Honorable Premier.
So thanks again for the question. I think it's important to engage with the youth of this country. And in fact, we do have a youth plank within our manifesto that speaks to engaging them, those persons who are not going into university or into the job place, engaging them through a youth service program where they can actually earn an income, right? Everything we've done has been focused on youth. We bought for $4.2 million a building in Grace Bay to relocate the community college, and beside it, there's a plan to build a hotel training school, right? So, but all of our people don't want to get into the service industry. A lot of them may not want to even work in the hotel industry, even in management positions, right? And so one of the things we have to do as a country is decide where we're going to position our people. Because if we are going to continue to turbocharge this economy, right, we're going to have to import labor. Regardless to what is said about immigration, we will have to import labor.
30 seconds.
We need to ensure that our people have a special place in the economy. Is that going to be in the professions? Is it going to be in entrepreneurship? So we need to engage with them to find out exactly where they want to be placed. And then, of course, everyone can't be either in the professions or entrepreneurship. And so where those persons are interested in trade, because if you look around, who's making the money? The people in trade, the masons, the carpenters, the electricians, right? They're making more money than most of us in this room, right? And so our people young people need to be sensitized that working with their hands is not
Honorable Premier,
a disgrace either.
thank you. That is your time.
I'm all about supporting young people, and
Thank
it
you,
shows,
sir.
and will continue to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Premier.
That is our final question, and we have reached to the end of our debate. At the beginning, we had a coin toss, and the Honorable Premier won that toss. And so now we are going to invite the Leader of the Opposition to give his 3-minute closing. 5-minute closing remarks.
Well, thank you very much, Turks and Caicos Islands. Thank you very much, moderators. For the last 90 minutes, you have heard the Honorable Premier try to convince you that you are living your best life. For the last 90 minutes, you have all heard the Honorable Premier try to convince you that crime is under control. For the last 90 minutes, you have heard the Honorable Premier try to convince you that they have a handle on illegal immigration. For the last 90 minutes, you have heard the Honorable Premier try to convince you that your health care is at the highest standard. He have tried to convince you that NHIP is working for you. He have tried to convince you that the economy is working for you. He have tried to convince you that after 4 years of not building one house, in 5 years, he will build 3,000 houses in the first year. He have tried to convince you that after messing up our internet, the government internet, he can fix it. He have a plan to fix it. He have tried to convince you of all these things, Turks and Caicos Islands. He have tried to convince you that the economy is working for you. He has tried to convince you that you are making more money than ever before. He have tried to convince you to keep it where you had it. But I am here to tell you that nothing that the Premier can say to you, if you truly know that your life is not where you want it to be, if you truly know that crime in the country is not satisfactory to you, if you truly know that business opportunities are passing you and your family by, if you truly know that housing opportunities are passing you by, if you truly know that your health care is deteriorating, then nothing the Premier can say can convince you that you're not feeling that. And if you are happy, there's nothing that I can convince you if you're living your best lives, like how him and his ministers are doing. There's nothing I can convince you that you're not. But if you are not living your best lives, if you are feeling these pains and struggles, if you know of your children or someone you know children had to leave the country for a better life, then I urge you, the time is now to make this change. 2025, now more than ever, is a turning point in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We are at a crossroads, and this will determine who inherits the Turks and Caicos Islands for the future. The Premier wants to continue sailing out the country. He wants to continue making you second-class citizens in the Turks and Caicos Islands. He wants to continue to cherry pick who succeeds and who fails. That is not the PDM way. We believe that a rising tide should float all boats. So if you are concerned about your health care, you have to vote PDM. If you are concerned about business opportunities in the country, you have to vote PDM. If you are concerned about your children getting a scholarship, you have to vote PDM. If you are concerned about getting a home to live in, land and home, you have to vote PDM. If you are concerned about illegal immigration being tackled right, you have to vote PDM. There is hope with the PDM. There is opportunity with the PDM. There is life, there is future with the PDM. I urge you, Turks and Caicos Islands, to look at what you had over the last 4 years. Are you satisfied with the life we are living right now? Think about it. Are you satisfied? Do you want more of the same? More empty promises, more opportunities lost, more projects being canceled, more crime, more violence, more hiding from the
30
people,
seconds.
lack of accountability. Do you want that? Lack of accountability, lack of showing up on the job. If you don't want that, then the choice is clear. Vote for me, Edwin Astrid, and vote for all our PDM candidates. Your future, your money, your health, your businesses, your house, your children, all is our priority. Your future is truly our priority.
Honorable Leader. Thank you very much.
So,
Honorable Premier.
the Honorable Leader of the Opposition wants you to vote for him. And there's only one constituency he can be appealing to, and that is Grand Turk South. He wants to be the Premier of this country, the leader of this country, and didn't have the confidence in himself to put himself at large so that he can demand or command the attention and the support of the masses of people across these islands. Leadership is not without easy answers. There's a saying that says, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. And there's nothing that he has said tonight that should give you any confidence in him. Nothing whatsoever. He doesn't have a plan. And I am so disappointed because I thought we were coming here to have a real debate based on plans. And he doesn't have a plan, right? So, based on what we have achieved, my government and myself, we came in 1991, we find an economy that was in decline, in free fall. You asked us to rescue you. We rescue you. We turbocharged the economy. We gave you, put money in your pocket. We supported you for the last 4 years. We created institutions, 2 institutions in the process of being operationalized. That is the credit union and the mortgage corporation, and soon to be the Turks and Caicos Islands Health Authority and others, because we believe in planting shade trees that we won't sit under. We believe in building institutions that's going to benefit generations and generations and generations, and not in personality. At the end of the day, this is a country of laws, not a country of man. So their focus is on how they can enrich themselves. If you look what has happened, a member of cabinet, when he had an opportunity to talk about crime, when they had an opportunity to buy a police station for the people of this country, they bought it for themselves and ran it back to the government. The very plane that he's talking about was procured by a PDM operative for too much money, and then it was found not to be fit for purpose and had to be sold for less than what it was purchased for. The building that he's talking about, the building that he's talking about for the trade school, was purchased by one of their cronies and then sold back to the government. So that kind of insider trading is what he's inviting you to come to? I would say no. So, and to go back to what he said in public on radio, that some friend of him said, and I don't remember the words, that he was involved in illegal smuggling. He's yet to go to the police to say who that is. So, and yet he's talking about crime. You're aiding and abetting criminals. So, you know, the bottom line is, as I said, we've made a difference. We're putting things in place to create a better future. We live in different worlds, obviously. Right? Charles Dickens wrote a book called Tales of Two Cities. We're living in Providenciales and Turks and Caicos, but it sounds like a tale of two cities. You know, I know people, there are people in this country who are still hurting. And we will do everything that we can to put the social fabric in place to assist them. And I've listed a whole list of things that we've done. If I was able to read them out, they would be very long. But I want to offer you my party's manifesto, because in the manifesto, it speaks to how much what we've delivered over the last 49 years. and what we have just delivered in the last 4 years. And you will see what we have done. So Turks and Caicos Islands, you know us. You know the experience that you can count on. And so we are asking you to enlist us, the Progressive National Party, headed by yours truly, Charles Washington Mizik, and my colleagues who have experience, integrity, and the competency to deliver a country that will be the envy of the region.
That is your time.
So I appeal to you humbly to support the Progressive National Party
Honorable Premier,
and its
that's your
candidates
time.
and keep it where you've got
Honorable
it.
Premier.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have witnessed democracy in action. This debate was not just about words spoken on the stage, it was about ideas, leadership, and vision. It was about the future of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and for that, we owe a sincere thank you to the two individuals who stood before us. The Premier, we say thank you, and to the Leader of the Opposition, thank you as well. Your willingness to engage in this discussion, to defend your policies, and to present your vision for our country is a testament to the weight of the responsibility you both seek to carry. To the media, whose sharp and pressing questions help shape this discussion, thank you. The role of journalism in a democracy is vital, and your commitment to seeking truth and holding power accountable is invaluable. To you, the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, those who submitted questions, who tuned in, who engaged in the process, you are the heartbeat of our democracy. Without you, the conversation would be meaningless. Your voices matter, your concerns matter, and most importantly, your vote matters. A special thank you as well to Radio Turks and Caicos for broadcasting this debate and ensuring that every citizen near and far had the opportunity to listen, reflect, and decide. And to the Atrium for graciously providing the space for this important conversation. To our technical team, Genesis Next Media, we say thank you. Now, I know that not everyone may feel completely satisfied tonight. You may not have heard the exact questions you submitted, or you may not have received the full answers you were looking for. That is the nature of political discourse, and it is complex, it is challenging, and it is ongoing. But here's what matters. These two leaders stepped up, they stood before you, they accepted the challenge, and they made their cases for why they should lead this nation. They laid out their plans, they put their vision forward, and now the responsibility shifts to you, the voters. Tonight, you heard competing ideas, different priorities, and contrasting leadership styles. Some answers may have inspired you, others may have left you with more questions, but that's a good thing. It means you are thinking critically. It means you are engaged. It means that you care. Between now and February 7th, take the engagement further. Reflect on what you've heard. Seek clarity where needed. Challenge your leaders. But most importantly, make your voice count. Because at the end of the day, democracy is only as strong as the people who participate in it. Thank you, good night, and may God bless the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Thank you.